You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly.
Okay, we're going to get started. Good morning, everybody. My name is Kevin Law, and as chair, I now call to order the meeting of the directors of the New York State Urban Development Corporation, doing business as Empire. Okay, we're going to get started. Good morning, everybody. My name is Kevin Law, and as chair, I now call to order the meeting of the directors of the New York State Urban Development Corporation, doing business as Empire. Comments by noon yesterday, and we'll state for the record that no comments were received from the public regarding any of today's agenda items. Of course, the directors were all provided with written materials in advance of today's meeting, and of course are free to ask questions at any time during the presentations. At this time, I'll ask the directors whether anyone has any potential conflict of interest with respect to any of the agenda items.
I do have one. I will recuse myself from the Oswego County Water Park project.
All right, that's project item 2H.
That's correct, thank you.
And I will recuse myself of 2G, the Equitable Life. It's a regulated entity of DFS.
Very good, Benson. So item 2G, we'll note that when we get to those two items. So with the foregoing conflicts noted for the record, and before we get to the first item on the agenda, we'll go around the room as we always do, first to recognize a quorum, and then we'll have staff introduce themselves. So,
Michael Rosen, member of the board.
John Wong, member of the board.
Rob Simpson, member of the board.
Benson Martin, designee.
Good. And then we have Hope joining us live from Albany.
Yes, Hope Knight, President and CEO.
And Kevin's there as well. So thank you. I'll recognize a quorum. And then Noah, you want to lead staff introductions?
Noah Raymond, Chief of Staff. Jason Clark, New York State Division of Minority and Women Business Development.
Arden Sokolow, EVP Real Estate.
Liz Luskin, EVP Small Business and Technology Development.
Sylvia Codoni, Assistant Vice President, New York Ventures.
Kathleen Mize, Deputy CFO and Controller.
Ray Lando, Chief Financial Officer.
Elisa Hochgeiser, Director of Compliance. Goldie Wexel, Acting Counsel.
Good. Well, very much. Thank you for all joining us, and for Debbie and the team who help us put these meetings together. Thank you. We'll get right to the agenda items. First action is to approve the minutes of both the December 21st, 2023 and January 18th, 2024 directors' meetings. I will move both of them. Michael seconds them. Are there any comments, revisions, additions? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. The motion carries. I'll now hand it off to Hope, our President and CEO, for her monthly report.
Thank you, Kevin, and good morning, directors. As Kevin said, I'm here from Albany, where this year's legislative session is in full swing. Earlier this week, I spoke at the New York State Economic Development Council's annual conference here in the Capital Region. The council is a membership organization representing a broad spectrum of economic development groups, from industrial development agencies and local development corporations to banks, underwriters, and private businesses. It was a great opportunity to connect with different economic development partners from all across the state. I was joined by some of our executive leadership team, our regional directors, and our strategic business division. Additionally, several other ESD colleagues representing a number of our divisions participated in panels over the course of the two-day event. Here at ESD, we continue to support the innovation economy throughout New York State. Last month, Governor Hochul announced a $160 million federal investment in the battery technology, storage, and manufacturing industry. The National Science Foundation has designated New Energy New York Storage Engine as a regional innovation engine as part of President Biden's Investing in America agenda. Anchored at Binghamton University in the Southern Tier, This hub will help to accelerate innovation and help to create the skilled workforce to grow the domestic battery industry. Through ESD, New York State will match up to 20% for the first 5 years of the project and provide additional support through existing programs. This designation marks another win for New York State and the Southern Tier, which is poised to become a global hub for research, innovation, and advanced manufacturing. I'd like to thank President Biden and Senator Schumer for their support and Governor Hochul for her leadership in growing this important industry. I'd also like to acknowledge ESD's small business, NISTAR, and strategic development divisions for all their hard work on this. Last Friday, I joined Governor Hochul for an important housing event in Brooklyn. The governor announced that 18 new housing developments will move forward under ESD's Gowanus Neighborhood Mixed Income Development Housing Program. You may recall that last year the directors authorized the implementation of this program, and individual sites will be brought back to the board next month for final approval. This innovative program will unlock more than 5,300 units of housing, including more than 1,400 affordable units. It also shows the central role that ESD is playing in one of Governor Hochul's biggest policy priorities, solving the housing crisis. ESD's real estate team deserves a lot of credit for bringing this program from idea to reality over the last several months. The announcement comes as New York City faces its lowest vacancy rates in decades. ESD is proud to support the governor's commitment to housing, and we recognize that housing development is economic development. It needs to be a piece of our comprehensive and holistic approach, because companies have told me that they can't consider locating in a state that does not offer ample housing that their workers can afford. That was the message I shared with the legislature at the end of January during the joint budget hearings. There's a lot of work ahead, but I know that we have a tremendous team at ESD and we'll be able to get the work done. I'm confident that with hard work and support of our board, we'll be able to affect real change and generate sustainable growth to improve the lives of all New Yorkers. And that concludes my president's report. I also want to mention that there may be a point in this board meeting where I have to step out to go to another meeting, and Kevin Eunice will be my designee. Thank you.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Hope. How did the legislative budget hearings go, and any issues raised that should be brought to the attention of the board members, or did they just love everything you were doing and just compliment you to the hilt?
Well, I wouldn't say that. It was a 4.5-hour hearing.
Wow.
And they asked about many of our programs. I think nothing that I need to mention at this board meeting, because all the programs that we have brought to the board and have talked about before. So we continue to have dialogue with the legislature, and want to continue these programs along.
Got it. Well, thanks for the update there. Any board members have any other questions for Hope? All right. Thank you, Hope. And next up, we have Steve Hunt. He's our Regional Director for the North Country region, and the North Country is in the spotlight today. And so I look forward to hearing from Steve. I believe this is virtual, correct? Steve is not here with us. Right.
Yes, good morning. I'm here, but
There he
maybe
is.
you're not seeing me.
Nope, now we see you, Steve.
Okay, great. Good morning. Good morning, Chair Law. Good morning, Board of Directors. I'm just going to share a PowerPoint screen here. And I hope you can see the cover page of my PowerPoint.
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Okay. All right, and I'm going to give an overview today of the North Country region of New York State. And I, just for technical purposes, hoping the slide is advancing. You see a map. Okay, great. So while the region, the North Country, is the largest in total area of New York State, it consists of 7 counties of 11,420 square miles, but it only encompasses a little over 2% of the state's population. The cities of Plattsburgh and Watertown anchor the region's eastern and western sides, where they serve as micropolitan centers with their own media markets and north-south corridors. And other prominent communities you may be familiar with include Fort Drum, the largest military installation in the northeastern United States, and Lake Placid, which is home to the 1932 and 1980 Winter Olympics. I hope to go through some statistics specifically about the region with regard to population. The region, as I mentioned, is smaller in population than other regions of the state, with 422,537. But we think that the rural character in small cities here are our niche, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. From 2020 to present, the North Country's unemployment rate has been significantly lower than the state's, and often lower than in the U.S. And those are based on the trends that we're mirroring around the country over the last 10 years. Aside from a small spike in 2017, the unemployment has mirrored the state and national trends. The economy has been retracting, but is expected to rebound and grow. Employment has been growing since the pandemic-induced drop in 2020, adding almost 4,900 jobs. And the North Country's gross regional product grew by 29% between 2017 and 2022 to over $23.1 billion. The main contributors were government, and which generated 1/3 of growth in our region, but also retail, trade, and manufacturing. Average earnings in the North Country are over $11,000 below the national average, and more than $30,000 below the statewide average when you include New York City income numbers. But between 2017 and 2022, average wages grew faster in the North Country, up 29% than in the state, which was 27% in the nation. We have a median household income of $59,537. Approximately 52% of households in the North Country are considered middle class, earning between $50,000 and $150,000, with approximately 22% of households making between $50,000 and $75,000. And since 2018, the North Country has seen a decline in the poverty rate from 15.2% to 14.2%, and approximately 20.3% of the population in poverty are people less than 18 years old. So there's certainly some challenges in the North Country, and I intend to talk a little bit more about those as well. Based on modeling, we expect a 9.4% increase in jobs over the next 5 years in the region, adding roughly 16,500 jobs by 2027. Growth will be primarily, again, in government, healthcare, industries, as well as manufacturing, accommodation, food service, and social assistance. And over the next 10 years, we anticipate the North Country's labor force will decline by 17,500 workers, driven by retirements and demographics, with a total projected workforce gap of 48,000 through 2032. And again, I'll talk a little bit more about that. The regional assets, we have some very favorable assets in our region, including the proximity to Canada, which is the state's largest trading partner. We also identify, access to major markets, and a number of colleges and universities in our region, industrial parks and affordable real estate and sites, beautiful downtowns and quality of life, and perhaps what we're most well known for are world-renowned natural assets like the Great Lakes, the Adirondack Mountains, the Thousand Islands. But that also brings with it vast geography, and that provides opportunities, again, for tourism, for recreational opportunities, plentiful agricultural and clean energy growth opportunities. And we hope to continue to maximize those opportunities. As I noted, we, of course, have challenges as well in the region. The North Country economy is growing and is projected to see tremendous growth over the next decade. And I talked a little bit about these numbers, but we anticipate the need for tens of thousands of new workers to meet the needs of employers. And while the region's colleges, universities, and trainers, workforce partners are employing every tool at their disposal to meet workforce needs due to these rising retirements and changing demographics, the challenge is certainly daunting. And we just noted here some of our target industries in the region and the gap that we're anticipating in those industries. Meanwhile, we have in the region, I mentioned earlier, Fort Drum, which is the largest Army installation in the Northeast, but it's also New York State's largest single site employer. And on an annual basis, over 3,600 soldiers transition out of service from Fort Drum into civilian life, and approximately 1,000 spouses accompany them each year. And the North Country, if we could capture those transitioning soldiers, we have an opportunity to gain over 46,000 new members of our workforce over the next decade. These are well-trained individuals with soft skills, an average age of 29 years old. They're looking for their next move. And this is something the North Country Regional Council has really buttoned down, and I'll talk a little more about this as well. This is a photo that was captured at Fort Drum last summer as we worked on that item. And the North Country Regional Council is led by James McKenna, who's the president of the Regional Office of Sustainable Tourism in Lake Placid, and Catherine Morris, who is the president of St. Lawrence University. And like all regional councils, you know, our council is made up of a number of economic development and academic leaders, as well as local government leaders from the 7-county region that makes up the North Country. And without a major metropolitan hub, we're driven to represent the best of the state's small cities and rural communities. So the vision identified by our regional council is to do just that. Similar to Empire State Development, we've identified these 4 pillars of economic development as the guiding pillars for how we arranged our strategies in the region. And so while we have unique strategies to our assets and opportunities, we've put them under the tradable sectors, workforce, innovation, and placemaking umbrellas. And then this year, given the tremendous growing need and impact on economic growth of housing, Regional Council has identified housing as sort of a call out, a special pillar that we are focusing on developing strategies for and working on solutions for. In pursuit of these regional goals, of course, in the vision, we're working on a number of significant projects in our region. And I've been previewing it quite a bit, but we talked about our workforce challenge and this unique opportunity with Fort Drum that, again, is presented by New York's largest single site employer. So the Regional Council dug deep on this issue and identified this opportunity for the region. And for this last round of Regional Council initiative, through the challenge competition, we identified this opportunity as something that the state could invest in and grow. And in December, Governor Hochul awarded the North Country $10 million for this bold initiative that we believe is going to expand the North Country workforce and create the most robust transitioning soldier and spouse retention pipeline in the country. This initiative is going to have a number of components, and the Regional Council is just beginning the process of this multi-pronged strategic initiative. But ultimately, what we hope to do is connect the dots for transitioning soldiers and leverage a variety of activities through new investments in organizational capacity, programming, and brick and mortar projects. And we're excited to launch this over the next year, and also we'll be excited to report back on our progress. We haven't even launched yet, and the initiative has already secured over 90 employers who have endorsed the initiative, the idea, and primarily out of their need for workforce. So we're really looking forward to building that bridge. Another significant project in our region is Beta Technologies. This is a company was founded in 2017, and it is an electric aerospace company that's aiming to reshape transportation networks and support the electrification of transportation by manufacturing sustainable electric zero-emission aircraft and building reliable electric propulsion systems and multimodal charging infrastructure. In December of 2023, Governor Hochul announced that Beta will partner with Clinton County on a $41 million expansion of its Plattsburgh facility. And this new upgraded facility will serve as a manufacturing and final assembly hub for Beta's all-electric aircraft, and will establish a permanent flight test and aircraft delivery center responsible for final flight testing, aircraft painting, and customer delivery at one of the North Country's busiest transit hubs. So this is a very exciting project, just getting off the ground, I guess pun intended. Another project that just completed actually in June of last year was the lodge at Skroon Lake. The regional council had identified the need to build out our tourism infrastructure in the region, especially in, I guess, more remote areas. And this project was the opportunity, a $25 million project to redevelop a former retreat that was kind of fallen into disrepair and transform it into a new lodging opportunity for visitors to our region. It's an anchor project in a downtown and is, of course, also providing access to the beautiful natural assets we have there. We supported this project with a $4.1 million URI grant. They're going to create 47 new employees. And again, this is sort of meeting a number of the regional strategies for the North Country. Another project, this one, again, just cut ribbon last couple weeks ago. I thought that was a cute picture. This is a family-owned business. This is going to be the first new hotel, or is the first new hotel in over 10 years in Lake Placid. And they, again, are demolished outdated property and constructed a new hotel with 185 guest rooms in Lake Placid, and they're going to create 50 new jobs. So as you can see, tourism is kind of a critical component of our economic strategy here. And then we're working with Jefferson Community College and Neighbors of Watertown, organization in the city of Watertown, to redevelop two historic blighted buildings in downtown Watertown as part of the DRI, which will create entrepreneurship space. And there's going to be some theater space as well as entrepreneurship space in the downtown area where small businesses are located and could benefit from the services, but also bringing students and activity to some buildings that were otherwise underutilized and unused. And this one's expected completion in June of 2024. Lastly, I guess I'll just share our North Country team. This is our team. We're a little casually dressed at the summer picnic, but we have two offices in the North Country, one in Watertown, one in Plattsburgh. You probably may or may not be aware of there's some distance between those two places. There's 3.5 hour drive by car. So we have sort of divide and conquer method here, but work closely with these folks, in touch on a day-to-day basis, and they're all responsible for some of these signature projects and for the helping with the direction of the regional council. So happy to work with these folks on a daily basis, and happy to provide them a shout out here today. That's all I have for presentation, but happy to take any questions or suggestions.
Hey, great job, Steve. And it's always, always great to just learn more about what all the different regions are doing, the different parts of the states, and so I find these very helpful. I hope the other board members do as well. Yep. And it's good for us to recognize all the good professionals we have out in the regional offices, like you and your team. So thank you for that. Couple of questions, Steve. When you're going through the stats, when you were going through,
how have you been? Enjoyed this now? Yeah, it was nice.
we always, people do not pay attention to my warning in the beginning about muting their phone, and so hope we're going to have a little test next month, and those people who get busted talking through the agenda will lose a vacation day or something. Yeah? How's that? Is that a good idea, Steve? So, Steve, when you went through the stats and your population of 422,000 and change, how has that been over the last 10 years? Has that been consistent? Are you growing like Western New York, or are you decreasing?
Apologies there, lost the screen for a second. Yeah, there's been a decline over the last 10 years, but we're optimistic, and we think, especially this Next Move New York initiative provides an opportunity. It's a small, relatively small opportunity, but it's something that we haven't had a specific focus on. And again, you talk about, this is a sort of a bubbling, well of individuals that are in the region that mostly don't come from here, and 3,600 a year are looking for their next step. So we think that's an opportunity. But yeah, we have seen a slight decline over the last 10 years.
Great,
and it becomes an issue.
And how are your housing costs? Have they've been going skyrocket, say like the Lower Hudson Valley did during COVID, and the rest of many other parts of the state? Are your housing prices stabilized, or have they been increasing over the last 4 or 5 years?
Yeah, housing, same. It's going up like everywhere. A lot of impact to these tourism communities of second home ownership, and the short-term rentals that buy up a lot of housing. So it's a smaller scale, but it's a similar problem.
Got it. And the gaps in the jobs that you listed, the various categories, is that going to create both opportunity to increase your population and also exacerbate the need for more housing up there?
It absolutely is. And while we identified this unique opportunity with the Next Move New York initiative, we also developed a housing strategy for that, working with housing stakeholders in our region to try to get prepared for the need for growth here. And so, yeah, we do think that as we have the more demand for workforce, we're going to need to have places for people to live.
Great. It's been about 3 years or 4 years since I've been up to the North Country, so I got to get up there again soon, and I'll reach out to you and let you know so you can show me some of the cool things you have going on there. Great. Any other board members have any questions for Steve? All right. Because we're so efficient here at our board meetings, we're going to jump to the North Country for our regional project concerns and keep Steve on the line. He has a couple of projects to bounce off us. After each one, Steve, then let us take the action we need to take, then you could go to the other one.
Okay, that sounds great. So the first project I'll be presenting is for North American Forest Group. We're seeking board approval for $350,000 to North American Forest Group to support a $3.87 million project to construct and renovate a building and purchase and install machinery to accommodate their sawmill and woods products distribution operation in Ogdensburg, New York, which is St. Lawrence County. The project will create 20 new full-time jobs. This facility will allow the company to meet the demands of lumber, pallets, mud mats, wood chips, and wood pellets. While meeting these demands, North American Forest Group will be able to provide the benefit of providing an American source and market for New York State loggers, which reduces transportation costs for regional loggers, and the company will be able to process its logs locally using United States labor to capture the value of the logs in the United States rather than Canada. The project is in alignment with the North Country's regional goals of supporting new business development, job creation, and bridging the manufacturing workforce and training and retraining the North Country workforce to increase capacity and capability. This project is now complete. 11 full-time employees are at the project site, and the company intends to hire 9 more, satisfying obligations for disbursement within their incentive proposal. ESD is now recommending that the board authorize the $350,000 grant for this project.
Good. Thank you, Steve. I will move it. John seconds it. Are there any questions from any of the board members? We have not received any comments from the public. So there's a motion, there's a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. The motion carries. Next item, Steve.
Okay, the next item is for Atlantic Testing Laboratories. We're seeking board approval for a $390,000 regional council capital grant to Atlantic Testing Laboratories to assist with their $2,061,325 construction and renovation project on a vacant blighted building in downtown Canton in St. Lawrence County. The development of the new vehicle and equipment maintenance building is critical to the company's drilling and testing operations in New York State. Atlantic Testing Labs is a certified woman-owned business. It specializes in services including subsurface and geotechnical engineering. A full complement of subsurface equipment is maintained in St. Lawrence County, which includes various types and sizes of drills, rigs, and diverse specialized support equipment. The grantee has completed the project and reached the job commitment by retaining 22 full-time permanent employees and creating 4 new part-time permanent positions. Because the grantee has met these conditions for each of its 2 disbursements under the terms of the incentive proposal, ESD is now recommending that the board authorize the release of funds for this project.
Good. All right. Thank you, Steve. I will move it. Rob seconds it. Are there any comments or questions from the board? We have not received any comments from the public. There's a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. The motion carries. Are you done, Steve?
I'm all done. Thank you.
All right. Well, we gave you almost a half hour of the meeting, but you did a great job. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
All right.
Hey, Steve.
All right, let's move over to the Finger Lakes. We have 2 items. We'll, again, separate votes. So we have Laura Fox O'Sullivan, our regional director for the Finger Lakes here. And again, she'll make her presentation via the phone, I believe. Yes.
Yes, I'm here. Thank you so much, Chairman Law. First, we are asking the directors to approve a $400,000 capital grant to CCMI Inc. for a $4.5 million expansion project from the Regional Council Capital Fund Round 9. The grant supports CCMI Inc.'s construction of a new 20,000 square foot manufacturing facility on Route 14 in Geneva, Ontario County, supporting a plastics manufacturing service in the Finger Lakes region. The project will provide for construction and renovation of the new facility and contribute to increasing CCMI's operational production and efficiency. The new facility will enable CCMI to fulfill a diverse range of plastics fabrication needs and expand the markets CCMI manufacturing is able to serve. CCMI was founded in 1991 and provides custom fabricated plastics to original equipment manufacturers and the medical and high-tech industries. The newly constructed facility is the second location in the company's more than 30-year history. The project is expected to retain 15 jobs and create 3 new jobs. The company has already succeeded in meeting its job commitment, having created 10 new jobs. To date, CCMI currently employs 25 workers. Can I answer any questions about this project?
Well, thank you, Laura. I will move it. Benson seconds it. Are there any comments or questions from the directors? Hearing none. We have no comments from the public on this item either. So all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. The motion carries. Laura, continue, please.
Thank you. For the second project, we are asking the directors to approve a $2 million capital grant for the YMCA of Greater Rochester from the Regional Council Capital Fund Round 12. The grant supports a portion of the cost to construct and furnish a 75,000 square foot wellness center in Canandaigua, Ontario County, including spaces for a child care facility with a capacity for 75 kids and a community health partner to provide medical services on site. The size of the old facility was too small to adequately meet the needs of the growing Canandaigua community. The new facility enables the Y to expand their reach and increase the number of youth, seniors, and families throughout the community who use the facility as a recreational and social hub. Since the grand opening in October of 23, the number of visits has increased by 37% and membership has grown by 73%. The YMCA of Greater Rochester will contribute $18 million or 69% of its own equity into the project. The total project cost is $26 million. The remaining funds will be financed by a housing and urban development grant and bank financing. Any questions about this project?
So the $2 million is just for the capital, the physical building, correct?
Yes, and with a target specifically on the child care portion.
Yeah, no, I was wondering because Governor Hochul has committed a lot of money to child care in terms of the operations. So I was just wondering, this grant is just for the capital, and then, or is this for any part of the operations for the child care?
This is not for the operations. This project predated that more recent policy effort.
Got it. And ESD does not administer the child care funding, right? Where does that come? Office of Children and Families, or do we know?
We do not
administer
that, no.
Yeah, got it. Okay.
We do provide generally, as of the last round, we can provide a higher incentive for projects that provide childcare, not for profit specifically that provide childcare.
Got it. No, good.
But again, this predated that.
Got it.
Yep.
No, I think we should, childcare is a economic development issue. So it's glad to see we're supporting it. All right. So I will move this. Michael seconds it. Any comments or questions from the board? We have no comments from the public. So all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. The motion carries. Thank you, Laura.
Thank you.
All right. We'll move over to Central New York. We have Daniel Kalinsky, our Regional Director for the Central New York region. And so we have 4 items and requiring 4 votes. So Daniel, again, take them one at a time, and we'll vote, and then you can proceed to the next item.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good morning, directors. Today, the directors are being asked to approve a Round 9 Regional Council Capital Fund grant of $425,744 to be used for a portion of the cost of renovations to establish an entrepreneurship center and makerspace lab at Lemoyne's campus in Syracuse, New York. The Entrepreneurship Center, located at 1135 Salt Springs Road, will act as an incubator, accelerator, and shared workspace for entrepreneurs. The Makerspace Lab, located adjacent at 1146 Salt Springs Road, will include a virtual lab, wood shop, finishing lab, 3D printing lab, director space, and shared workspaces. Lemoyne was founded by the Society of Jesus in 1946 and is the youngest of the 27 Jesuit colleges and universities in the United States. Lemoyne's first classes were held in downtown Syracuse before excavation began on the former Gifford's Farm. In 1948, the college's first two structures, now known as Gruen Hall and Coyne Science Center, were built. Today, the campus consists of nearly 50 buildings, and the college enrolls over 3,200 students in 42 undergraduate, master's, and doctoral degree programs. The total budget for this project is $2,128,722 for the renovations and construction. ESD participation in the project represents 20% of project costs. The project is consistent with the Central New York Regional Council's plan to support targeted industry clusters and signature investments by equipping the region's workforce and businesses with the skills required for the 21st century economy. Happy to take any questions.
Good. All right. I will move this. Our man from Syracuse, Rob, will second it. Are there any comments or questions from the board? Hearing none, we have no comments from the public. So all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. The motion carries. Dan, continue, please.
Directors are now being asked to approve a Round 11 Regional Council Capital Fund grant of $300,000 to New York Hemp Oil LLC for a portion of the cost of construction and machinery and equipment towards their expansion project in Cortland County. This project involves the renovation of two existing locations, 185 South Main Street and 37 Huntington Street, that will connect the two properties and will expand the company's manufacturing and warehouse capacity for a larger and more diverse product offering, as well as provide more storage, security, and distribution opportunities. The renovations include 5,000 square feet of warehouse space, 3,000 square feet of additional manufacturing and R&D space at the Main Street location, and renovation of 40,000 square feet of office space and 75,000 square feet of manufacturing space at the Huntington Street location. Founded in 2017, New York Hemp Oil is a vertically integrated USDA-certified organic hemp company. The company grows, processes, and formulates organic hemp into a growing number of consumer products in Cortland, New York. Alan Gandelman, the founder, is the president of the New York Cannabis Growers and Processors Association, which continues to be instrumental in helping craft legislation for New York State's hemp industry. In addition, through a unique relationship with Cornell University, New York Hemp Oil is at the cutting edge of hemp research with several innovative formulations in development. The total budget for this project is $1,934,000, with the company investing $1,634,000 in equity. ESD participation is 15% of total project costs, and is consistent. The project reached its first milestone with the completion of the 185 Main Street, retaining 26 existing full-time permanent employees and creating 14 new full-time employees. The project is consistent with the CNY Regional Council's plan to strengthen targeted industry concentration that leverage unique economic assets.
Good. All right. Well, thank you, Daniel. I will move it. Benson seconds it. Any comments or questions from the board? Hearing none. There is no comment from the public. So all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. The motion carries. The next item is the item that Benson mentioned he was going to recuse himself on. Daniel, if you want to continue.
Yep, sorry. So the directors are being asked to approve a Round 1 Upstate Revitalization Initiative capital grant of $9 million to Equitable Financial Life Insurance for the redevelopment of their national life insurance back office operation that was at risk of relocating to Charlotte, Tampa, Nashville, or Phoenix. ESD offered Equitable a $9 million URI capital grant in November 2019 to retain this key employer in Central New York. Equitable accepted ESD's offer for the funding in December of 2019 and has since renovated and upgraded its 134,000 square foot office space within the Equitable Towers. The new state-of-the-art space is now organized and equipped to better accommodate a hybrid occupancy model. Founded in 1859, Equitable is the leading financial protection company and one of the nation's premier providers of life insurance, annuity, and investment products and services. The company has maintained operations in New York State for more than 150 years, with its largest branch within the Equitable Towers at 100 Madison Street in downtown Syracuse. The company has committed to maintaining 651 employees at the project location and 1,366 employees within New York State through January 1, 2029. The project cost totaled $28,562,000, with the company contributing $6,600,000 in equity. The grant of up to $9 million will be used for a portion of the renovation costs and the purchase of furniture and fixtures. ESD participation will be 32% of the project cost. The project is consistent with the Central New York Regional Council's plan for maintaining the region's competitiveness and connectivity to the national and global economies. Happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Daniel. 651 jobs. It's quite a large employer up there. They are.
Correct, yes.
Got it. Well, thank you. I will move it. John seconds it. Any questions from the board? No comments from the public. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Let the record reflect Benson recused himself on that matter. All right, last up, Daniel, last item?
This is the one I'm recused from.
Yes.
Yes, and this is one Rob Simpson has recused himself from.
Correct. Last but certainly not least, the directors are being asked to approve a Round 1 Upstate Revitalization Initiative grant of $400,000 and a $500,000 DRI, a Downtown Revitalization Initiative grant to the Lake Ontario Water Park Incorporated for a total of $900,000. Lake Ontario Water Park, Inc. is a private business corporation created in 2015 to oversee the construction and operations of Splash Indoor Water Park Resort. The company applied for grant funding through Round 1 of the Upstate Revitalization Initiative's consolidated funding application to assist with the capital expenditures to build a 20,000 square foot water park along Oswego's riverfront near the shore of Lake Ontario, providing a multi-season tourist destination to an underutilized part of the city. Additional funding for the project was provided in 2016 when New York State's Regional Economic Development Council awarded the city of Oswego $10 million in state funding under the first round of the DRI initiative. As part of the DRI, Lake Ontario Water Park Incorporated was selected for funding to provide additional assistance for the construction costs of the project. In June 2023, the company completed the project as planned, opening Splash Indoor Water Park Resort, a multi-level, state-of-the-art aquatic entertainment facility that has attracted over 10,000 visitors to date. Total project costs were $6,085,000, which included $800,000 in equity contributed by the company. There are currently a total of 16 full-time permanent employees at the project location. With the required obligations having been met for both projects, ESD is now recommending the board approve the combined grants providing $900,000 in funds for this project. ESD participation will be 7% with the $400,000 grant and 8% with the $500,000 grant for total project costs. The project is consistent with the CMY Regional Council's plan to redevelop and revitalize our urban centers in the region.
Thank you, Daniel. All right, so we're approving both grants, 400 for the URI and 500 for the DRI.
Correct.
In one motion. All right. I will move it. Michael seconds it. Any comments or questions from the board? No comments from the public. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. And let the record reflect Rob's recusal. Okay. Thank you, Daniel. Good job.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Ben Vesherin. Ben is our Executive Director of NISTAR, and he has an item up in Troy for us.
Good morning, everyone. The directors are being requested to approve a grant of $8,954,936 to Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute to establish the New York State Fashion Innovation Center, or FIC. This grant will fund creation of a consortium of institutions focused on sustainable fashion manufacturing technology. RPI, with its rich history in materials technology and cultivating innovation, is the lead institution, and the consortium includes members from across the fashion ecosystem, including the Fashion Institute of Technology, the Hudson Valley Textile Project, SUNY Morrisville, and Madex Hudson, which in combination serve 7 regions across New York State. RPI was selected as the awardee based on their proposal in response to a competitive request for application issued and scored by NISTAR in 2023. The Fashion Innovation Center will focus on research and development of sustainable textile manufacturing using raw materials local to New York State, such as hemp, wool, linen, and dyes. It will be headquartered in the Center for Industrial Innovation at the RPI main campus in Troy, New York. There will be 4 other locations to house FIC operations across the consortium's partners, 2 of which will receive funding for improvements as part of the grant, including utility connections, ventilation, and safety system improvements where needed. The facilities that are funded through this project will house industrial machinery and lab facilities to conduct operations such as fiber processing, fabric forming, synthesis and testing, and textile characterization. The Fashion Innovation Center will also implement an accelerator program to provide pilot grants of up to $10,000 each to startups and innovation efforts in the fashion industry. This will be run from the main RPI campus in Troy and will provide participants access to mentors, supply chain experts, and other subject matter experts, as well as collaborative use of facilities and programming for the advancement of their products. Additionally, ESD funds will be used for salaries and contractual services to support subawardees, as well as executive and administration staff, program management, undergraduate assistants, and consultants through Madex Hudson who provide fashion production facilities, services, and project advice. The project is being fully funded through the New York Works Economic Development Fund grant. Capital work is scheduled to begin following ESD board approval, and the program will run for a duration of 5 years until April 2029. Thank you. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thanks, Ben. You know, we have such a diverse state in so many ways, and we have such a diverse economy statewide. And I've heard of the life sciences ecosystem. I've heard of the agricultural ecosystem and the tourism ecosystem, and soon to be the superconductor ecosystem. I hadn't heard of the fashion ecosystem, but it makes so much sense, and it's really cool, and it's great that there's going to be this collaborative effort too for all the different segments of the fashion industry throughout this state. So very cool project, Ben. I will move this. Rob seconds it. Are there any comments or questions from the board? No. No comments from the public either. So all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. The motion carries. Thank you, Ben.
Thank you.
All right. We're going to move down to the southern tier. Omar Sanders, our regional director, has 2 items. And again, Omar, after the first one, let us take a vote, and then you can proceed to the second item.
Sounds great. Thank you, Chairman. Good morning, directors. The directors will be requested to approve the release of funds for a facility expansion project consisting of acquisition and new construction costs to support a 116,000 square foot state-of-the-art advanced manufacturing facility located in Horsehead, New York. The grantee, Stan Fittings LLC, is a niche manufacturer, one of 6 in the U.S., that produces quality heating, ventilating, and air conditioning spiral pipe components and distributes them throughout the United States, Puerto Rico, and Canada. As part of the company's expansion efforts, Stan Fittings LLC created a joint venture with Vento, a Belgian company that specializes in sophisticated manufacturing processes and automatic warehouse systems utilizing automation of welding and pressing with robotics and unmanned forklift methods to achieve high volume while maintaining cost-effective products for industrial markets. This joint venture will allow for efficient layout, product flow, high volume, and consistent output with automated processes, allowing the company to capture more market share with the ability to provide a more competitive pricing while still maintaining high-quality products and short lead times. Total project cost for this expansion project is $12,791,359. In November of 2022, the grantee received an award of $1,010,000 through round 11 of the consolidated funding application. Upon completion, the project will create 14 new full-time jobs and retain 38 full-time positions. The company has made the necessary capital investment and currently has 46 full-time employees at the project location. This project aligns with the Regional Council's strategic goals that aim to strengthen the region's manufacturing capacity by fostering the resilience of the region's backbone industries and nurture the emerging regional innovation ecosystem. The project is now completed, and the company has satisfied its obligations under the incentive proposal for the first initial disbursement. I'm happy to take any questions at this time.
Thank you, Omar. I will move this. Benson seconds it. Any comments or questions from the board? We have no comments from the public. So all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. The motion carries. Continue, Omar.
Thank you. The next other tier project is Season 2 LLC. This is a historic mixed-use development located at 221-229 North Avenue in the Village of Owego. The project was awarded funding out of the Village of Owego's Downtown Revitalization Initiative. In August 2019, the Village of Owego received an award of $10 million through the Downtown Revitalization Initiative for a strategic plan that aims to improve downtown living, attract business and skilled labor, fostering culture and entertainment activities, and strengthen the downtown's overall quality of life. The Owego Local Planning Committee recommended 22 priority projects that align with 6 overarching goals: improving recreational amenities, fostering arts and culture, strengthening the downtown experience, upgrading infrastructure, creating opportunities for economic development, and revitalizing housing and neighborhoods. The project scope for Season 2 LLC includes renovations of a vacant building on North Avenue to create mixed-use properties at a key gateway into the downtown of Owego. The existing building was separated into its original footprint as 2 individual buildings, 1 commercial property and 1 residential property. The commercial building is occupied by Owego Donuts and Beer Company, a self-serve beer bar and donut shop. The 2,500 square foot residency property features 2 apartments. To support this project, the grantee received a DRI award of $439,000 to be used for a portion of the cost of the construction and renovation. The total project cost is $683,700, and the grantee contributed roughly 36% in equity toward the project cost. This project has been completed as of December 2023. The project brings a new public serving business to a prominent site in the village, which will promote economic activity in the district. The project will attract tourism dollars, create new permanent jobs, and attract new residents and businesses. And I'm happy to take any questions at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Omar. And I've heard of beer and chips, beer and burgers, beers and dogs, but not beer and donuts. But I wish the project success with that. All good. I will move it. John seconds it. Any questions from the board? Hearing none. We've received no comments from the public. So all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. The motion carries. Thank you, Omar.
Thank you.
All right, we now have one at the direction of projects, and we have Simone Bethune, our Senior Project Manager and Coordinator of Projects for Loans and Grants.
Thank you, Chairman Law, and good morning to everyone. As a reminder, at the direction of grants refer to those commitments listed in the New York State budget that enhance the state's communities through cultural, educational, research and development, and civic organizations. These projects originate from the governor or the New York State Assembly or Senate, and ESD is named to administer the funding. ESD does not select the recipients of funding. Today, we are seeking director's approval of a fiscal year 2023-2024 $1 million local assistance grant made at the direction of the Executive Chamber to Fort Drum Regional Liaison Organization, doing business as Advocate Drum, located in the North Country region. Formed in 1990, Advocate Drum directly employs 18,620 military and civilian personnel while supporting another 5,858 jobs in the broader regional economy. The organization facilitates partnerships between military and civilian communities to meet common needs for housing, transportation, infrastructure, healthcare, and education. Due to a decrease in federal funding, the military is under pressure to reduce facilities. In recent years, Advocate Drum has experienced an increase in its installation of soldiers and families. To help address this impact, it has spearheaded an ongoing initiative which seeks to strengthen spousal and retiree employment opportunities and stimulate area economic development by identifying gaps between goods and services needed by the organization and the local economy's current ability to address those needs. This working capital grant will support salaries, general operating expenses, and travel expenses to key conferences while supporting Army recruitment activities to assist transitioning soldiers. Funds will be applied to these activities between April 1st, 2023 and March 31st, 2025. And I can take any questions.
Thanks, Simone. I will move this. Michael seconds it. Any comments or questions?
Hey, Kevin, it's Eunice. Just noting that Hope left, and I'm now the designee. For the record, I'd like to note that that's a very intoxicating amount of power, but also I was really pushing for her to leave so that I could have voted on the beer and donuts. But it didn't work out. But I'm now her designee and voting on her. Yeah. Well,
Very good, Kevin, and I'll make sure I get you on the next one. And thanks for the update. So we have a motion, we have a second. We have no comments from the directors. We have no comments from the public. So all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. The motion carries. Thank you, Simone.
Thank you.
Okay, we have now 2 items from our Office of Strategic Workforce Development. Christina Lopez, our Deputy Director of Workforce Development. Again, Christina, after your first item, let us vote, then you can proceed to the second item.
Thank you, and good morning, Chair and Directors. The Directors are being requested to approve the release of funding for the Office of Strategic Workforce Development's Pay for Performance Program operating grant to Clarkson University in the amount of $729,000. The Office of Strategic Workforce Development launched these programs in October of 2022 as part of Governor Hochul's $350 million investment in workforce development enacted in the fiscal year 2023 budget. The office has $150 million in grant funding for 2 program tracks, a $35 million workforce capital grant program, and a $115 million pay for performance grant program that has an operating grant and the achievement-based capacity building awards, which are data and metrics driven. Clarkson applied for a pay-for-performance operating grant through round 2 of Office of Strategic Workforce Development grant funding. Based on the recommendation of the office and the ESD commissioner, an incentive proposal was signed agreeing to provide $729,000 in funding. The funding will be used to develop industry-informed micro-credential trainings, beta test the trainings, and establish implementation plans and recruitment plans for full implementation post-pilot. Clarkson has hosted workshops with workforce development organizations and industry partners from the advanced manufacturing, clean tech, construction, and building trades industries to inform the development of micro-credentials. The trainings developed will be beta tested to determine the effectiveness of the training methods and their relevance to the respective industries and refined as necessary. Stipends and wraparound supports will be provided to beta testers to improve participant completion rates. The micro-credential trainings will result in industry-recognized credentials, which will provide increased access to high-demand jobs and career advancement. We are recommending that the board authorize the release of funds for Clarkson University to carry out this project. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Christina. I will move this. Rob seconds it. Any comments or questions from the board? We have not received any comments from the public either. So all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. The motion carries. Christina, continue.
Thank you. The directors are being requested to approve the release of funding for the Office of Strategic Workforce Development's Pay for Performance Program Operating Grant to Mohawk Valley Community College in the amount of $976,000. MVCC applied for a Pay for Performance Operating Grant through round 2 of Office of Strategic Workforce Development's grant funding. Based on the recommendation of the office and the ESD commissioner, an incentive proposal was signed agreeing to provide $976,000 in funding. The funding will be used to recruit participants and provide training in MVCC's fast-track training programs and place participants in high-demand trades. MVCC will offer training in mechatronics, construction, machinist operations, welding, and HVAC that can be completed in 8 months and will lead to SUNY and NYSED approved certificates. MVCC will partner with Oneida County Workforce Development and Workforce Development Board of Herkimer, Madison, and Oneida counties to increase the reach of recruitment efforts and the number and locations of industry partners to hire training graduates. The training will also be offered to students attending Oneida Herkimer Madison BOCES Middle Settlement Academy. Wraparound services will be offered to participants to improve training outcomes. Fast track training offered by MVCC will provide a promising career pathway to individuals while simultaneously filling critical industry shortages. We are recommending that the board authorize the release of funds for MVCC to carry out this project. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Christina. I will move this. Benson seconds it. Any comments or questions from the board? Hearing none. We don't have any comments from the public on this either. So all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. The motion carries. Thank you, Christina.
Thank you.
Moving on, we have Sylvia Codini, our Assistant VP for New York Ventures, with an item.
Thank you. Good morning. We're asking today for an approval of a follow-on investment of up to $3 million in Envisagenics. The New York State Innovation Venture Capital Fund has previously invested $1.2 million in the company. So with this investment, we will be at $4,520,000. Envisagenics is a tech bio company using artificial intelligence and expertise in RNA for the discovery of novel targets that allow the development of novel therapeutics in oncology, metabolic diseases, and neurodegenerative diseases. Envisagenics is a revenue-generating company and has secured its first multi-year R&D collaboration with one of the big pharma companies, BMS, and is positioned to get several other contracts. The company is based in Long Island City and has 37 employees. It's also women and minority-led and a spun out of Cold Harbor Spring Laboratory in Long Island. The investment we're making will be for working capital and growth of the company. As part of the due diligence process, the New York State Innovation Venture Capital Fund and an external advisory committee have evaluated the company, the business plans, growth prospects, as well as the terms of the investment. And as a result of this analysis, both the staff and the IAC are agreeing on the market opportunity and growth potential that this company offers and warrants an investment from the New York State Innovation Venture Capital Fund. Therefore, we recommend its approval.
Very good. Thank you, Sylvia. So back in either round 1 or round 2 of the REDCs, we awarded, when I was co-chairing the Long Island REDC, we awarded this company a grant when they were just getting started. Lovely woman out of Stony Brook University, but she was working at a Cold Spring Harbor lab. And it's great to see, because, in the startup industry, most companies fail. And it's great to see that now has to be, what are we, in round 13 now for REDCs? Oh, that's a trick question. I think so. So 11 years later, they're still going strong and attracting private investment and additional support from the state. So congrats to Envisagenics. So I will move that. John seconds it. Any comments or questions from the board? Hearing none. We have no comments from the public either. So all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. The motion carries. Thank you, Sylvia.
Thank you.
All right. Last up, we have our administrative action items that Doug Janice will present to us, and has about nine or so items. And this one we get to do one vote at the end. So Doug, the floor is yours to walk us through these items.
Thank you, Chairman Law, and good morning, directors. As the chairman just noted, in order to help streamline our board meetings, we implemented an oral summary presentation process in connection with the administrative action section of our agenda. So you receive a full set of written descriptive materials for each of these items in your board materials. But rather than having individual oral presentations made on each, I will provide a brief summary of the items. And at the conclusions, we can then entertain any questions or comments directors may have. The 8 administrative action items for this meeting are summarized as follows. Item 6A is relative to authorization to make statutory payments pursuant to the Electric Generation Facility Cessation Mitigation Program. The board is being asked to approve 2 payments pursuant to this program. These payments will offset reductions in property tax revenue to 2 local governmental entities due to the closure of an electric generating facility in their respective jurisdictions. The first is to Niagara County in the amount of $607,396 due to the closure of the Somerset Electric Generating Facility in March 2020. And the second is to the Lansing Central School District in the amount of $191,513 due to the closure of the Cayuga Electric Generating Facility in November 2019. Approval of these payments will bring total disbursements from the fund to approximately $79.7 million of the $140 million authorized for the program, leaving a program balance of approximately 43% of the authorized funding. Item 6B is relative to the approval of the land bank application. The directors are being asked to approve a land bank application submitted by Herkimer County. As a reminder, a land bank is a not-for-profit corporation created by local governments to assist with the problem of vacant, abandoned, and tax delinquent properties. Per the law created the land bank program, ESD approval is required before the land bank can be formed. Staff has reviewed the application submitted by Herkimer County and believe a strong case has been made that the land bank will be successful in that community. Item 6C is relative to authorization to approve a rotating team of underwriters and financial advisors for bond issuance. Directors are asked to approve a new list of underwriters and financial advisors. In December, 34 firms responded to an RFQ, with 30 requesting to serve as underwriters and 4 requesting to serve as financial advisors. The respondents included 10 MWBE firms and 3 SDVOB firms. It is requested that the firms listed in this item be approved to serve as underwriters and financial advisors for 2 years, and that authority be granted to the CFO or treasurer to extend that term for 1 year, and additional authority be granted to the CFO to extend the term for a final additional year if necessary. Item 6D is relative to authorization to amend an agreement with CASO, C-A-S-O, Document Management for upgraded electronic document management software. Preparation for ESD's upcoming New York City office move, ESD has undertaken a significant document scanning and digitization project at 633 3rd Avenue. To alleviate the need to store millions of documents and to make them more accessible, the corporation's current software contract with CASO needs to be amended to include upgraded software that will accommodate the large volume of scanning and provide unlimited user access so staff can access their scanned documents. The original agreement with CASO was for $5,655. The amendment adds $493,635 for an initial 3-year period. CASO's proposal also includes an option for 2 additional 1-year renewals if required. Items 6E and 6F are 2 separate requests for authorizations to retain law firms to represent ESD on the proposed Lincoln Correctional Facility redevelopment project. The project is an affordable housing project that ESD is sponsoring as part of Governor Hochul's initiative to repurpose unused and underutilized state properties for affordable housing development. Lincoln Correctional Facility is owned by ESD, is located on 110th Street in Harlem, and was operated by the New York State Department of Corrections and Community Supervision until its closure in 2019. The first request is for an authorization to retain the firm of Schumann, Updike, Kaufman, and Gerber, LLP as real estate counsel, and the second request is for authorization to retain the firm of Minster Mausch, PLLC as environmental counsel for the project. Both firms are WBE certified firms that are on ESD's pre-qualified list of outside counsel. Both firms are highly recommended because of their extensive knowledge and experience in handling similar work. Each contract would be for a 3-year term with an option for ESD at the discretion of the general counsel to extend the contract for 1 additional year. The proposed contract limit for each contract is $500,000. Both firms will bill at or below ESD's pre-approved rates, and all funding for these contracts would be provided by the project's conditionally designated developer. Item 6G on today's agenda will not be presented today, and instead will be presented at your March meeting pending some additional required approvals that staff needs. And finally, item 6H is relative to authorization to enter into a contract with Lyro Engineers for field inspection and related services for the Connect All program. Directors are being asked for authorization to enter into a contract with Lyro Engineers for field inspection and related services. This new contract is the next step in the transition plan covering services for the range of Connect All programs that the board was advised of last December. This contract will provide Connect All with the following services: third-party inspection of federal and state-funded broadband projects to review technical proposals prior to grant award and inspect and validate constructed broadband projects prior to dispersing grant funds. Development of specifications or project plans put in a solicitation for respondents to implement or as the basis for planning and cost modeling, and development of wireless coverage plans to inform siting and investment strategy. The contract has a not-to-exceed value of $800,000 per year for 2 years, with an option to extend for an additional 3 years at the same cost per year, for a total possible term of 5 years and a maximum possible contract amount of $4 million. With that, I will now turn it back over to our chair, who will call for any questions or comments you may have on any of these items before calling for a vote. We also have related staff on the line today to take any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug. And as mentioned earlier, all the board members were provided with materials on all of these items prior to today's meeting to review. So we'll take one vote for all of these items. So I will move it. Michael seconds it. Any comments or questions from the board? Hearing none. We've received no comments from the public on any of these items. So there's a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. The motion carries. Thank you, Doug. That concludes the official part of our, agenda for this board meeting today. Does any board member have any other item they wish to raise at this time? Hearing none. Our next board meeting is Thursday, March 28th. Thank you all for participating. Thank the staff for their professionalism. And I will move to adjourn at Rob seconds. All in favor? Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you all.
Thank you.